Good morning, good afternoon, and I'm back on the live stream again. How has everyone been? I hope you're all well. I hope you can see me okay, hear me all right. Just double checking just because I had to reconnect everything again. Let me know. Hey Basanta, how are you doing? Thank you so much. Hey Augusto, good to see you again. Good to be back on the live stream. Looking forward to sharing some trade ideas and possible trade setups with you guys. Getting back in touch. I've been away for a week, so getting back in touch with the markets, just checking out how everything has been moving. The US yen has done, I think it has done very well for a lot of people. I haven't been trading for the week, but looking at the way the Discord channel chat has been going, I do believe it's been going very well for many of you. Hey Matt, good morning. How are you doing? Hey Stefan. Good to see you all. Hey Nav, I did have a good break. I did have a very good break. Tiring break. Does that sound right? Yeah, tiring break. Good to have you all back with me again. Thank you for joining me on this daily market analysis. For all the regulars, a big welcome back. And I'm back. I say back too much. If you're new to the session, do drop a message and say hi. Let me know where you're joining us from. And if you can, do remember to help me out. Click that like and subscribe button. We are back into the swing of things. Hey Linley, hope you're well. Nice to see you again. Hey Diana, everyone's glad to see us back. Hope you haven't missed this live stream too much. If you have, it will happen sometimes that I'll go away, but I'll come back again. Hey Jimmy, how are you doing? Good to see you. How was the fishing trip? Like a long time ago since that fishing trip already. Okay, now I need some time to get back into the swing of things. All right, with all that, if you have any questions, please feel free to put it into the chat and let me know. If you have any trades that you got into last week and you like a quick review or you'd like to share your trade setups, do put it into the chat and let me know as well. Okay, a quick disclaimer first off. Remember that any information contained on this webinar should not be construed as advice and is presented as educational material only. The contents of this webinar are not intended to be a recommendation to a financial product, as your objectives, financial situation, and needs has not been considered, and you should consider its appropriateness to your circumstances. Right, now with that done, no, take that away. Okay. Everything's working good. Okay, great. Let me just make sure it's all working. Okay, cool. Now, with all that, do a quick review of what has happened since the last time we spoke. Okay, because it's been a week, I'm just going to do a quick review of what has happened. We've already moved on from the news from last week, but just a recap. And this is what I do, right? So a lot of times you don't have the chance to trade all the time. You take breaks, you get busy with work, or you get go on holidays and take breaks away from the markets. This is how I get back into the swing of things. I check what has happened since the last time I looked at it, and then after that I check into the price for look at some possible trade setups. All right, a lot of times I don't end up jumping into trades in the first couple of days. I just want to see where price are reacting to in terms of any particular price levels, and then after that I start looking at some possible setups. The euro pound rallied but not yet filled the gap. Okay, we'll look at the euro pound shortly as well. Now, what has happened since last week? We had the Aussie with the RBA with their interest rate decision, keeping it on hold at 4.35%. That was pretty much as expected. Didn't see too much of a move on the Aussie. This was on Tuesday last week, right about there. So it just pushed around a bit and then it spiked up and continued pushing higher. So on the release of the just set along that 0.66 level before pushing up, generally because of the dollar index at that point as it pushed slightly downside. We had the retail sales number for the US. Again, not very good numbers here. It was a minus 0.2%, revised from 0, came out at a 0.1, expected a bigger increase. So slight disappointment there on the dollar on Tuesday. That's why on Tuesday you'd see that it set at this 105.29 or 105.30 level, pushed up slightly, got resisted, and then came right back down again because of the news. I'll zoom in a bit. Okay, and then we had pound CPI, the UK CPI, 2.3 to 2% on Wednesday last week. That had some impact, but not significant. Main thing, the big surprise, you all know it, you're all talking about it, but the big surprise from last week was again from the SNB, the Swiss National Bank. This time again surprising markets, taking interest rates down another 25 basis points from 1.5% down to 1.25%. Right, taking it down 25 basis points from 1.5 to 1.25. Immediately we saw, as a result of that decision, we saw it push up from that. Oh, I had this there, look at that. So I had that because it looked like that pattern. All right, take that away. It pushed off from this point here, which was that 0.8830 kind of support level. Wait, why is it not working? Okay, there you go. Kind of support level on release of that surprising news of a rate cut decision. We saw weakness on the Swiss franc, which took it from 0.88, almost 0.8830 up within the hour from 8840. Let's take it from 8840 within the hour up to almost 8890, right? Pushed up a good 50 pips, 60 pips to the upside, and then continued higher because of that surprise from the SNB, while the BOE, the Bank of England, followed up with their rate decision, keeping it on hold at 5.25. No change in the rate votes, in the number they were voting on, the way they were voting at. So you see that in the UK on the pound dollar, it's taking a while to load, I don't know why. Where we're here, right? We saw it push down slightly, but no big significant moves from the release of that news because it wasn't any change in the number, it wasn't any change in the way they were voting. We just saw it pushing back down again because of the strength on the dollar pushing to the upside. Then through that, we had a bunch of PMI numbers being released for the Eurozone and also for the US. Bit of a weaker number for the Eurozone in terms of the PMI, but it didn't do too much. It did add to that dollar recovery, but not huge, not significant. I think the main thing was from that surprise from the SNB. So very quickly, that was a quick recap of what has happened since I was away. But now that I'm back, the market is giving me a bit of a chance to get into it, slowly get into it, because today we have no news, no major news on the markets today. So it's a good opportunity for me to look into how it's going to set up, where price is, what it could move towards. I just want to make sure that it's all, something seems to be up. Okay, I seem to be dropping frames. You guys can see me okay, hear me all right? Let me just check. I think I'm in and out. Let's see. Okay, can you guys hear me okay? See me all right? Are we still alive? That's a bit of a false start. That's a little bit of a false start. Okay, seems better now. Sounds good. See, okay, now it's better. All right, got that sorted. False start. Let's start again. Did the recap. Now, today being Monday, all the big news, all the big surprises in the market last week. Today, no big news, no major news. Giving a chance to get back into the swing of things. The main thing I'm looking up, do a quick preview of what's to come this week. Tomorrow, tomorrow we have the Canadian CPI to be released. We'll look forward to that. I'll tell you more about that during tomorrow's stream. We have the Aussie CPI to be released year on year on Wednesday. And then we have Governor Bailey speaking on Thursday at the FSR Financial Stability Report on a press conference. We look forward to that. We have the US GDP to be released. And then on Friday, the core PCE price index to come for the US. Okay, so a couple of things to look out for this week. Not a major news week, but it's a good way to get back into it, especially with, I'm watching that one, especially with the yen right up there, just below that 160 level, right? Just below that 160 level. Looks like we're well connected now. Diana says don't use my China internet. Yeah, I know, it was hard. I was trying to write something up on TradingView. I couldn't get onto TradingView. I couldn't get on Forex Factory, and then it just was too hard. So it makes it a lot better to be back and doing a live stream. Okay, now looking at that, with all that, understanding what we have, which is not a lot of news, but some key things to look out for. Looking at the dollar index, we had that. We'll take that away. Again, remember the last time we spoke about this was on the 14th of June. It's the 24th now, right? So it's been a good 10 days. Looking at the dollar index, it's broken past that 61. I'm just checking my levels. I don't need that anymore. I can take that away. Right, I'll keep that, I'll move that away, and I'll keep this up there. Right, it's a good support level. That's the whole swing, yes. Okay, now with this, I'm looking at this point here, which coincides there. Okay, so we're sitting right along this 105.70 level. Zoom in a little bit. Hey Ahmed, how are you doing? Good morning. Thank you so much. Okay, we're sitting right here. We're sitting along this 105.72 level. It looks like there is that trend line holding it. Okay, and then if I took this point up to this point, no, to here and then to here, I don't need that. Let me just look at that first. So on this move back up, right, it came down, it tested this 105, around 105 area, it bounced off, and then now it's retracing along this support, which is also that 23.6 level. So this is where it's going to get interesting, because as it sits along this support, I'm looking at this area forming that support. If it breaks below this trend line, if it breaks off the box and below this trend line, then we could be looking at a little bit more downside, but right, this is just purely a technical view because I don't see any reason why the dollar index should come all the way back down, right? Looking at the news, there is no big reason unless we see that in the GDP on Thursday or the core PCE on Friday, but that's still a couple of days away. So for now, I actually see the dollar index probably sitting along this point, and I would say that it's going to consolidate. What I'm probably looking for, right? What I'm probably looking for here is for it to sit along this area and then maybe bounce back up, right? Bounce back up, but in that still remain within that consolidation. Okay, so essentially what we're looking at here on the 24th of June is that the dollar index, let me think, bounce, no big news for today. We're going to see it retrace slightly. Okay, so dollar index, first thing is that it needs to stay above 105.50 to remain bullish. Okay, that's 105.53, so it needs to stay above 105.50 to remain bullish. Could consolidate along consolidate between 105.70 and 105.90. That's what I'm looking at. All right, so it needs to stay above 105.50, which is right there, slightly lower, to remain bullish, but it could consolidate between this 105.70 and 105.50 range. That's what I'll be looking out for at this point in time. Okay, makes sense? Then, now let me see, think about that again. Consolidate 105.60. Right. If it breaks this point, then we could see further downside, but I think it's going to consolidate in this area. Okay, now with that thought that it might retrace a little bit and consolidate this area before more strength, looking at the Kiwi, I think that one's done. We can take that away. 60 broken, take that away. Okay, take all of that away. Hey, Nwachuku, how you doing? Now with this down to this point, we have 38.2 being held, like that level. I like it there. What I'm looking at, what I would be looking for here on the Kiwi would be that if the dollar does retrace a little bit or sit along that point before pushing up, then Kiwi, we might be looking at it climbing up slightly, right? No Kiwi news. I'm looking at it climbing, sitting there, climbing up slightly. Would like to see it test and reject that level again, like what it did on Wednesday last week and on Thursday last week. So test and reject 6145 to push back down. I would be looking for some selling opportunity. 6138, no, lower. 6135. 20 pips is very generous down to this point, the previous swing low or the support level there at 55. Yep, I like that. Okay, so I'm looking for a test and reject of 6145. We'll look to sell down from 6135. You could even go down to 15 on this. I'll be happy on 15 on this, to 55 to the downside. Okay, so Kiwi, I'll be looking to sell down 6135, stop loss 15, take profit 55 to the downside, hesitation at 61. We'll keep that there as well. I should have deleted it, but there we go. Hesitation at 0.61. All right, great. Zoom in a little bit more on the dollar index, so you can see that it's tested that support, bouncing back up. So that's kind of playing out. It's not played out yet. It does need a little bit more time, but it kind of is playing out to regain that strength back up. So it's sitting there. If it doesn't push all the way back up, then I wouldn't do anything. It's just a bit too little space in there. I'll be looking for it to break that support to the downside. But I think that might be a thing that we can talk about tomorrow. Okay, then onto the Aussie. Aussie looks like it's setting up a lot better. Take that away, did not trigger. Support there is, we'll change that to a support. Okay, 61 there, broken, take it away. Now, with the way it's bouncing, I don't need that as a resistance. I need that as a dotted line. Right? To test those levels, I want that as a dotted line. You see that from this previous swing low to the top, we have tested that 50% level and bounced up slightly. So what I'm looking for in this case would be, in fact, I don't want this line here. I want to catch that. Okay. It's a small trade. It's going to sit there, look for it to sit there, maybe push up. So we have two levels here. With the dollar, maybe looking like it's sitting, finding a bit of a support at 105.70 to push up. We're looking for this to sit there and push down. The first move could be to sell down 6625. Stop loss tight 15 pips. Take profit down to the support at 45 to the downside. Right? So that's anticipating, kind of looking out for it to sit there, push, and then turn back down, right? Alternatively is that it goes up, test, and reject. But I think if it does push up, test, and reject, you have either the Aussie dollar to sell down or the Kiwi dollar to sell down, right? You have that kind of move and then back down this way or that way as well. Okay, so I would rather highlight, no, actually I'll put that 2 in. We have two setups there on the Aussie to test and reject and push back down, or to push up, test at previous high, reject and push back down again. I'll highlight, because we have the Kiwi expecting it to push back up, test and reject. That's a slightly longer term or medium term play. I'll look for the shorter, if it regains the strength quickly. Look for it to break 6630. I'll be looking at 6625, 15 to 45. Okay, 6625, stop loss 15, take profit 45 to the downside. There we go. Okay, cool. And then here we go. This was where we were talking about last week, well, 2 weeks ago, and then it finally broke above that 158.40 level and pushed up towards that resistance at 159.40. Came as close as 159.94, just shy of 160 before retracing. And if you looked at this, I did write something up. I got my script there, my first script ever. You can go check that out. I wrote that on June 13th of whether the BOJ could lead to, inaction on the BOJ could lead to the yen testing or retesting the 160 level. It's moving up, it's almost there, it almost got there, it's hesitating, right? So that was the analysis written on the 13th. Now, at this point, we take a couple of lines and squiggles away first. You look at that. I don't actually need that for now. I'll take that away. And what you're going to see here, what you're going to expect here is that there's no major lines. There's no next resistance level to look out for because we're in historic highs. We're on the daily chart here and we can't see anything further, right, than 160. So again, back to the H1 time frame is that. There we go, zoom in a bit. You see that the yen is running on this move to the upside. All right, I saw one headline here that was quite interesting. That, where was it? Hey, oh, there. Yen remains stable, possibly due to intervention by Japanese authorities, right? It might not be that they've intervened enough to push it all the way down, but they've intervened slightly to prevent it from climbing too massively to the upside. Not having the impact that they're expecting so far. We are still expecting more weakness to come from the yen, right? More weakness to come from the yen means that we're likely to see it push further to the upside. It's a bit scary to think that the yen could get to the 161 level, right? Big level there, 161, especially if it breaks above 160, right there. I spoke about it when we were in this area that we're in intervention zone. We're definitely well and truly into intervention zone. You see that the last tail that we had on the 29th of April was at 160.22, right? This was 29th, it pushed up, hit 160.22 and then came right back down again. So again, if you're looking to buy it up, be very, very careful. To try and catch this move up is going to be very risky, right? It's going to be very risky. I think that we want to see how is it reacting in that area first. Okay, how is it reacting in that area first? I do think that you could be looking at that kind of move, but you want to see it break first, break that area first. Okay, you're looking at a 30 pip stop loss, a 65 pip to the upside, but you want to move that stop loss up to break even as quickly as possible because you just never know if or when the BOJ is going to intervene. So, anticipating dollar strength, recovery in dollar strength. right? You see it's sitting right there, but yet the yen is still trying to push slightly to the upside. I wouldn't do anything yet. You could be daring and rush in now and try and trade it up, but I would say the more conservative approach would be 160.30, 30 pip stop loss, 65 pip take profit to the upside. Okay, so nothing yet, but US yen, be careful, possible intervention zone area, right? But we're looking to buy up from 160.30, stop loss 30, take profit 65 to the upside. Okay, there we go. So possible intervention area. In fact, I'm just thinking that could it retrace before pushing back up? If it stays above, let me just see something here. That whole thing is that point. No. If it bounces off 159.40, you could be looking to buy it up. Actually, I like that one a bit better. 159.50. Take profit 70 to the upside. Stop loss, you can keep it quite tight at 30 pips. I like that one more. Okay, so we'll keep that as a area. And we're looking, I'm actually looking for that. So either that move up or retrace and then a bounce back up. Because they do try and retrace a little bit before pushing back up, like what we've seen here as well. So I'm looking for that to sit and retrace before pushing back. I like that one a lot more. 159.50, 30 to 70. 159.50. Let me do that. 159.50, stop loss 30, take profit is 70 to the upside, right? And you can see dollar index now pushing right back down. That should drag this a little bit lower. I want to see it test support and bounce, so I like that. Diana is asking, do you think BOJ will not do anything? I think yen will go lower before moving up. Oh yeah, my internet, so okay. Need to refresh the connection. Hello? Okay. Yeah. Okay. I don't know what's happening. We'll restart the thing after the stream. Hopefully it gets better tomorrow. 158.67. I would like to see it come all the way down, but I don't see that. I think if it comes to 158.67, we might probably see it drop a lot more down towards that 158 level. Right, so I think that we're going to sit around there and then bounce back up. Okay. Now with that, okay, I'll keep that there. Yen sitting across, pulling back, bounce. I'll be happy with that. Then onto the pound dollar, we had that straddle which didn't play out. It took a lot longer than we expected. So take those away. dollar weakening is bouncing off this level, which is, let's see, where does it line up to? That 50% and that 61.8 is down there. Right, so it came all the way down to 50, bounced off, now trying to break 50, but it's bouncing back up. Along this support now turned to resistance area. What I'm looking for is dollar weakness now pushing it back up. I'm thinking that it could retrace back to that resistance, right? That 50, 61.8 level, and then turn back down. So you're looking for it to push back up to resistance before dollar strength regains. Now, if that's the case, then you look to sell it down from 1.2675, stop loss 20, take profit right back down 90, with a possible hesitation at 61.8 there. Not a very strong level. I would say that support is fine. I would say a possible hesitation at about that 1.2620 level. And that would be a good 50 pips to the downside. Keep that there. We'll look for that because we're not seeing a lot of moves, a lot of big news for today. So we're looking for a test and reject of the resistance to push it back down. 1.2675, stop loss 20, take profit 50. All right, so we're looking at that to sell at 1.2675, 20 to 50 to the downside. Take profit 50 to the downside. Okay. Then onto the euro dollar, we saw that test and reject and push back down, but essentially finding very strong, relatively strong support along that 1.0670 level. That 61 is broken, take that away. We found that level there. More relevant points will be here. Pushing back up. What I'm looking out for, I'm thinking of this in the event that the dollar drops significantly, right? If I'm wrong and it doesn't hold this level and it breaks that 50 and pushes right down, then you could be looking at the euro dollar pushing back up, where you would be looking to buy it up, right? And we're looking at this move to the downside. Right there, 38.2 holding. So I wouldn't do anything yet unless it breaks above that 1.0760 level. Then you would be looking at dollar weakness. This is a dollar weakness scenario. 1.0765, stop loss tight 20 pips. Take profit up there to 80 to the upside, right? Based on dollar weakness, double bottom, break up, look for it to break past that previous high to the upside. So 1.0765, 20 to 80 to the upside. This is on dollar weakness scenario. We're looking to buy at 1.0675, stop loss 20, take profit 80 to the upside on DXY weakness. All right. There we go. That could play out well. That could play out well. I was watching that as well. Then someone was talking about the euro pound. We're looking at the pound dollar pushing slightly, euro dollar gaining a bit of strength to the upside. Euro pound is trying, it's been trying for the last week to regain or to cover that gap. So to cover that gap, that fib level doesn't do anything for me. I'll take that away. What we are looking at is at that point 8471 coming very close. We do have a bit of a trend line holding it up, so looking for it. We're talking about this on Friday on the 14th for it to push back up to cover that gap. It hasn't done that through the week. It looks like it's trying again now. With the euro does push up with the 80 pips, then we might see this euro pound recover that and push up towards that resistance level. So if you are trading the euro pound, then yes, look for it to break above this level 8470 towards that resistance. Small move, right? Not a huge move there. That's only a 20 something pip move to the upside, 30 pip move to the upside. We're going to see a rejection of that resistance and possibly pushing back down. So looking for a reaction there, either to break up or more likely to push to the downside again. Okay. Then onto the US Swiss franc. Too many dotted lines that we have here. Take those away. Drag this all the way down. You have 38.2 right there where it's being held, and 50 right there. So we're looking at this dollar holding along this area. If it does break down, then you're going to see the US Swiss franc push to the downside, but I don't think we're going to see it trade down much. I want to see it push back up on dollar strength recovery. I think that is found a good bottom. We should see that weakness on the Swiss franc continue. So you're going to see this sit there in consolidation for now. Right, so it's consolidating in this area for now. We're looking for it to break to the upside. If it goes past 8955, you have a 55 to the upside, you have a 25 stop loss. That would be your 61.8 level. I kind of like that. Let me just check that resistance. I'll hold that resistance there. Consolidating. Might retrace a little bit. Let's see how much it could retrace by. Could retrace back down. I wouldn't want to sell it down. So if it's consolidating or if it's going to retrace, no, not that much. If it's consolidating or going to retrace, I'm looking for that bounce back up. So 8955.25 to 55 to the upside. Okay, so we're looking to buy at 0.8955, stop loss 25, take profit 55 to the upside. Okay, I like that. Then onto the US CAD, that tested and rejected right back down. All the way would have gone to your take profit. If you got into that trade, do let me know. Took a long time to play out. It took a very long time to play out, but you can see that it broke that trend line All right, it broke that trend line, so I can take that away. And also it's found and broke that level, now testing lower. This again, I would say on a dollar weakness scenario, you could be looking at this to sell down. You'd have a, why am I putting it there? It's because I'm looking at this point here. Right, I wanted to break that point before I would look to sell down. So it's bounced off this level, came right back down. I'll find this as a bit of a support area. If it breaks down, so I'll look at 1.3660, stop loss tight at 15 pips, take profit right down to the support at 45 at the support level there. Okay, so dollar weakness scenario again, sit right there, break that area to the downside, 1.3660, stop loss 15, take profit 45 to the downside. Where am I? 1.3660, stop loss 15, take profit 45 to the downside. Dollar is still pushing down, so that's going to be quite interesting, especially if it breaks that whole area and that 105.50, we could see big move to the downside. Then on to gold. All right, gold on the 14th we said it was likely to range between 23.40 and 22.90. This was where we were. It ranged in that, broke 23.40, went up, and then came right back down because of that dollar, a bit of that dollar strength pushing it. That's why we saw that come right back down. But right now testing up again. I don't need these big circles, take those away, and that one as well. Okay, so a good strong support here. And what you also notice is a nice trend line holding gold to the upside, bouncing, right? Bouncing off this trend line multiple times. Previous swing high was up at 23.66. Looking at this, I would say that break 23, I wouldn't do anything now unless it breaks 23.40. Then we could see 23.66 again. But that again is expecting that dollar weakness to factor in more significantly. But we'll look out for that. Based on the setup, we're looking out for that. So above, no worries, Diana. Catch you tomorrow. Above 23.40 could trade up to 23.66. There we go. So we're looking at that move on gold. All right. So there we have it. A bit of a false start with the connections and this and that, but we're back on the live stream. I will reset the router and all that kind of stuff, hopefully with a better connection tomorrow. If you haven't already, do remember to click that like and subscribe button and join us on Discord. The link is right up there on the top and in the descriptions, and I'll see you all tomorrow. So in the meantime, trade well, trade safe. Take care now. Bye-bye.